So, hey guys, new cards, and you know what that means. It's time to check out every single new card. So, just off the bat, I can see it seems like we have Dragunity support, Exo Sister, and then new archetype Elfnote here, and then something random like this hidden Hecahands. But yeah, let's get through it. But before that, I guess real quick, just want to mention that we haven't had any like pre-bans yet for a deck in a while. The last time we got a pre-ban, in fact, the only pre-ban we got like before a deck actually came out, I believe it was only exactly Ryzeal. Now that I think about it, Malice didn't get one. Draco Tail, did Draco Tail have anything pre-hit? I don't think so. Yeah. It's literally just Ryzeal. And then before that, we used to get more like pre-hits with stuff like Tearlament, for example. That deck got kind of chopped up a bit. Like I think that had probably the hardest pre-hits of any deck, aside from that Cash was decently pre-hit as well and all that. But yeah, if a deck isn't pre-hit, it's probably not that good. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting to begin with. Yeah. So let's take a look. Oh, this is completely generic to make 2+ monsters, including a tuner. So, in theory, like this wouldn't be like completely free to do, but if I had a cool tuner, I could use that with Dragunity Lord Georgius, or to make Dragunity Lord Georgius. I mean, that's not optimal because it tuner locks you, and then synchro locks you or something, or it ends up synchro locking you because you're tuner locked or something. Yeah, whatever. There are no link tuners. So, yeah. While this card is equipped with a Dragunity card, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters in the graveyard. So it has to be specifically equipped with a Dragunity card. Okay, surely has an effect that just does that. But what monster effects do you even care about in the graveyard, actually? Thinking about it, the only thing that comes to mind when I mention graveyard, I think it's mostly just like Orchest and then Tearlament that comes to mind. Aside from that, it's like pretty iffy. I mean, like for Snake Eye, if we prevented all the graveyard effects, that is actually useful. And against Ryzeal, that's also useful because of their inability to use like meteorologic aggregator. So that's something. And in terms of Dragunity cards, I believe none of them have any decent effects when they're equipped. So maybe there's something new as well for this. Alright, let's keep going. If this card is link summoned or your opponent special summons a monsters, you can special summon one level 5 or higher Dragunity monster for an extra deck or graveyard. Oh, that's pretty decent. Okay, that's hard. Once per turn, you can only use each of the following effects. When your opponent activates a spell / trap card or effect, quick effect, you can send one quick card you control to the graveyard to negate that effect. That's just fine, honestly. Not feeling that much about this. I mean, it depends on what all the other cards do. Because this by itself doesn't really do anything, as weird as that is, right? I guess with the Dragunity link to, it's not going to be too super hard to go into this, just in general. Especially if they have some new support. It's probably doable, right? Exo Sister, Carmyle. Not generic. If this card is... Wait, this is a fairy. Well, warrior. Okay, just checking. If this card is XYZ summon, you can activate this effect during the end phase of the turn. Set one Exorcist or Spell Trap from your deck, graveyard, or banishment. Okay, so it gives Exorcist some more grind, I guess. Cool. When your opponent activates a monster effect or a normal spell / trap card quick effect, You can detach all materials from this card, and if you do, the activated effect becomes add one card from your opponent's graveyard to their hand. You know what? Ah, so that essentially forces them to trigger the Exo Sister effect of the main deck Exo Sisters to like basically Zodiac summon on top of them, I guess. And it changes the effect, which is actually a very powerful type of effect, but that only works on specifically normal spells and trap cards. Does that mean normal trap or just trap cards in general? I think it must mean normal trap. So if you activate like skill drain, it's not chainable, which is like fine, I guess. It's still like decent effect. It at least like deals with evenly, so it's like, yeah. Junora, the power patron of tuning. Completely generic to make. Synchro 10 once again, but does require 2 non-tuners, so that's something. For this card, Synchro Summon, you entreat one monster in your center main monster zone as a tuner. Alright, never mind, it's even more generic than I thought. Okay. So if I wanted to summon this in Snake Eye, I could. We can use like Poplar as our tuner. And then we can use like Flamberge and then Snake Eye Ash, for example, if we really want to. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh wait, this is also a fire, so this has synergy with Promethean Princess in, you know, the fire kind of way. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls. Okay. This effect kind of mid. So the thing about this is, you know, so assuming you can even quick effect special summon this, still kind of sucks, right? Because let's say, well, your opponent just normal summons a guy, you can't negate that with the power patron here, or this power patron here, Junora. So that doesn't really work. So the only way you're negating something is if it happens in the next chain and you know it's going to happen. So if I were to activate E-Telly, for example, then you would know to trigger your quick synchro effect, and then you enchain to that. But okay, now depending on the turn, so assuming we're E-Tellying something that triggers on summon, right? Assuming that is the case, then Junora can be Chainlink 1 or Chainlink 2, depending on the turn. So if it's your turn, it'll be Chainlink 1. If it's on your opponent's turn, it'll be Chainlink 2. So that kind of sucks, right? Alright, let's see. Quick effect. You inactivate this effect. Monsters your opponent controls in the same column as the Elfnote monsters you control cannot be used as material for a fusion synchro X ways your link summon until the end of this turn. Oh. That's whatever. What was the name of this card again? I genuinely don't remember. But there was like some crappy quick effect kind of card people were discussing like playing at some point. They were saying stuff like, oh, it's just Scythe, but it really wasn't just Scythe, you know? Not searchable, we'll start there, but yeah. So for that card was like literally unplayable. And also like this card you could totally somewhat force it, right? I mean, you could occupy both EMZs, right? Kinda. So we could put like Junora into literally the EMZ and then put something below an EMZ. So if you were to try to perform a link summon, I guess that'd be the most mileage you get at this effect, right? Mixed bag on this effect. I mean, if your opponent is able to like, if you think about it in terms of like best case scenario, you have like 5 monsters covering essentially every zone, and then your opponent summons 5 monsters, and then you activate this effect to prevent your opponent from like going into the extra deck. You have to question, wait, why didn't they just summon 2 guys and then just do 1 link summon into like an SP or something? Unless this effect is like lingering, then it shouldn't really do anything, right? Let's see. You can activate this effect. Monsters your opponent controls in the same column. As of the monsters you control cannot be used as material for a fusion, sync, or XYZ or link summon until the end of this turn. So I can't tell how you're supposed to interpret this card. Is this effect like lingering, or does this affect like the cards your opponent currently controls, or all cards they control for the whole turn? Because if it's for like the whole turn, right, and it's just like a lingering floodgate, then this is just disgusting, and I hate it because this card's like completely useless. And a lot of going second kind of circumstances, but in terms of like going first stuff, that's the only time it's really playable. So yeah, I don't really like that card, no matter like which interpretation is correct here, which I haven't quite figured out because the wording on that's kind of annoying. This card's original attack becomes 3,000 while in the center main monster zone, so if it's not, it has no attack. Okay. During the main phase, quick effect, you can special summon one level 6 or lower Elfnote monster from your hand or graveyard, then you reduce the levels of all level 4 or higher monsters on the field by 3 until the end of this turn. Okay, is this just literally made to just annoy Cool Tune players or something? Like, okay. Let's see. So I think, wait, reduce the levels of all level 4 or higher monsters on the field by 3 until the end of this turn. Is this like a continuous effect or not? I can't tell with the wording. It's so annoying. Alright, also you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for synchro monsters. It doesn't say the word currently. Usually they should say the word currently on the field if it only affects like things on the field. So are all of these like lingering floodgate effects? Okay. Hecahand's Jaza. You need a Hecahand's monster plus 1 illusion monster. Must be either fusion summon or special summon from your extra deck by attributing 2 monsters you control, 1 face-up monster owned by your opponent, and 1 illusion monster. Okay, the summon conditions for this is super easy to meet. And doesn't this out towers? This is a summoning condition. Wow, tower stonks are really going down. Okay, well that's fine. That's only if people start playing illusion decks. Alright, wait a second. Wait, Diabellstar's a spellcaster? Alright, never mind. Okay, if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Because it's an illusion, I guess. They felt like remembering illusion had that text. I haven't seen that one in a while. During your main phase, you can add 1 Hecahand's card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Hecahand's Jaza once per turn. I haven't seen a single Hecahand's card yet, but okay. Archmage non-finito. Any 2 Archmage monsters. Must be either fusion summon or special summon from your extra deck by discarding 1 spell trap and attributing 1 summon or higher Archmage monster from your hand or field. Okay, sure, whatever. You can only special summon Archmage non-finito once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. Okay, so you can special summon this from the graveyard, I guess. Right? No, wait, it must be fusion summoned or special summoned this way. So it can only be special summoned once per turn, period. And it has to be summoned with this specific method. So if it goes to the graveyard, you can't ever monster reborn it. Okay. If this card is special summon, you can set 1 Archmage spell trap from your deck. Yeah, I guess. Once per opponent's turn, so only on opponent's turn. Quick effect, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control. I guess that's probably useful because a lot of the time, like whenever I do end up playing against Archmage, a good amount of the time they just don't perform fusion summons, even though they're like a fusion deck. Like it's not because they don't want to, it's probably because they literally can't, because I haven't interrupted them or anything. So yeah, cool, I guess. You can special summon this card from your hand to your center main monster zone. So that's the only zone I can special summon this to? What? You can only special summon Elfnote Lucina once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects of Elfnote Lucina once per turn. During your main phase, you can add one Elfnote monster from your deck to your hand, except for Elfnote Lucina. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can switch the locations of this card in your main monster zone and the monster in your center main monster zone. Then you can return one level 6 or lower monster your opponent controls to the hand. So this is not usable going second for anything, is it? But why this wouldn't, how would this be in a zone aside from the main monster zone? Because this is a level 6, you can't normal summon it, right? So, some other card has to summon it. Was it this one? Special summon a level 6 or lower Elfnote monster from your hand or graveyard. Yeah. That works on your own cards as well. I'm not sure if that matters. Okay. Dragunity, Quirinius. Well, this card is equipped with an equipped card. Your Dragunity monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Useless. You can only use each of the following effects of Dragunity Quirinius once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Dragunity spell trap from your deck to your hand. There's like a really good one from what I remember. There's like exactly one really good Dragunity spell trap, and then there's like an Omni Negate. I believe it was like Oblate. You can target one other Dragunity monster card you control. Return it to the hand extra deck, then you can special summon one Dragunity monster from your hand. Dragunity monster card you control. I believe equip cards count as monster cards, actually, because of the term. They are not monsters, but they are monster cards. I believe that was how that terminology worked. So this allows you to add a spell trap, and then you can also special summon a Dragunity monster from your hand, I guess. And the Dragunity spell trap that you're adding, I'm pretty sure, should equip something to Quirinius. Target one other Dragunity monster card you control, return it to the hand / extra deck. Well, you can equip a lot of things actually by that effect. So I'm curious what you're actually supposed to equip. We'll get back to there later. Elfnote Regina. If this card is in your hand, okay. This is a different effect. What? You can send one other Elfnote card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, special summon this card. If this card is normally special summon to the center, a monster stone, you can special summon an Elfnote monster from your deck, except for Elfnote Regina. If this card is sent to the graveyard, synchro material, you can add this card to your hand. Did this add a monster? Yes. So is it supposed to be like Lucina, add Regina, special summons, and then you grab a tuner, and then you make Strelitzia? So far, it looks like they don't require your normal summon, and they don't have a lock until this point, right? Wait, that's a plant synchro. Spellcaster. Spellcaster. Interesting. Okay. Hidden Hecahands. When you activate this card, you can also optional. Okay, send one other card you control to the graveyard. That's not a quick effect, so it's not even that useful to do, is it? Add one Hecahand monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you send another card to the graveyard at activation, you can set one Hecahand spell trap from your deck, except the hidden Hecahands. You can banish this card from the graveyard. Your opponent draws one card, and then they discard one card. Huh. Exosister Betrayal. When this card is activated, add two Exosister monsters from your deck to your hand. I guess that's good. Sure. Can't that add Martha? Wow, that's actually pretty damn good then. You can target one face-up monster you control immediately after this effect resolves. Normal summon one Exosister monster mentioned on that monster. Okay. If a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard even during the nurse step, you can activate this effect. Your opponent banishes one of them. Your opponent makes the choice, huh? A little bit iffy on that effect. The only thing about this is since it makes you specifically your opponent banish them, then it counts as your opponent banishing a card, which triggers the Exo Sister main deck monsters, I guess. Kind of mean. Right. New card, Arius. You target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of face-up monster cards in your spawn trap zone, negate their effects until the end of this turn. This is a quick effect if this card is equipped with an equipped card. Well, this card is equipped to a monster. You special summon this card, then you special summon one Dragunity tuner from your graveyard. Wait, one? Wow, this effect's actually pretty damn good, huh? Card seems very solid. Let's see. You can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of face-up monster cards in your spawn trap zone. So this is just a multi-card negate, like what's his face? The Fiendsmith guy that actually does this exact same sort of thing. And it's also based on like the cards equipped more or less. For the Fiendsmith one, it's like a link rating thing. So it's a little bit better in that regard. Oh wait, Fiendsmith's equipped? Dude. Oh, I forgot about that. Huh. Huh. We're getting some more equipped monsters than I remember then. Well, okay. Monsters that equip other monsters type deal. Hard ones per turns. So this just negates any face-up card your opponent controls, so that's effectively an Omni negate. So with Dragunity now, from what I know, I don't know how many of these guys you can actually make in a combo, right? But we have a red bear, right? No, was it not? No, it was. This is a monster negate. This is a spell trap negate. Plus Arius. This is going to be an Omni negate. And then you have Oblite, which is going to be. Wait. This is a spell trap negate. I thought this was an Omni negate. But either way, it's still like 4 negates. So that'd be like with Dragunity pure at the moment. I don't think there's like a lock in Dragunity that's like that harsh, is there? Yeah, I mean, there might be. I don't remember one though, so whatever. Hecahand Xeno. Hecahand's monster, 3 of them. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Illusion text. Epic. Have we seen any removal yet? Because if there's no like removal, like if we literally have like a yummy set in defense position, can that even be outed so far by Hecahands? Like I haven't seen anything, right? Yeah, I don't see anything. Okay. I mean, technically, if you summon Jaza, that could out cards. Wait a second, though. This is an illusion. This isn't hard once per turn, is it? So if you play 3 Jaza, that could just out your opponent's like entire board, right? Jaza is an illusion monster, right? So we can use one face-up monster owned by our opponent, and then Jaza, no? What? This isn't an effect either, right? Okay, we'll go back down. Let's see. During the main phase, effect, you look at 2 random face-down cards in your opponent's extra deck, then you special summon one of them to your field. Okay, I guess. If this fusion summon card you own and control is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can take control of any number of monsters your opponent controls. Real quick, let's reread this. 1 face-up monster owned by your opponent and 1 illusion monster. Can we even use cards our opponent controls for this summon? Or do we have to do that effect to do it? We might have to actually activate like Zeno to be able to do that effect. Unsure at the moment, but alright, I guess. Hecahand's Ibtel. Okay, so it's just, all of them should just have illusion text, so we'll just not read that for any of them. You can reveal this card in your hand, shuffle this card into the deck, then special summon 1 Hecahand's monster from your deck in defense position, except for Hecahand's Ibtel. So this sucks in the sense that if the target for this isn't our And we can't special summon it because it only special summons from the deck. Great, great, great. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Hecahand monster in your graveyard except Hecahand until special summon. So this has a Monster Reborn effect on it as well. And I think you're supposed to trigger it with probably the hidden Hecahands, if I were to guess. Okay. Yadel, if this card battles okay. Card once returns, you can reveal this card in your hand, shuffle this card into the deck, then add one Hecahand spell trap from your deck to your hand. Okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Hecahand spell trap in your graveyard, set it. So that can reset at least hidden Hecahands. Hecahands Godos. If a card is added to your opponent's hand except during the draw phase or damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand straight up. Okay. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Oh, you can just play this as a generic kind of hand trap. Oh. Is there anything that this would actually be good against? Thinking. Like, even against Dealman, it's not that good, is it? Cool card, though, either way. Or, sure, that's generically playable also. And its level is actually decent for making a Baron, just going to throw that out there as well. Elfnote Tinia. You can special summon this card from your hand to your center main monster zone. Not all of them have that text, I guess. You can only special summon Elfnote Tinia once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects once per turns. Okay, during your main phase, you can place one Elfnote continuous spell from your deck face up on your field. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can switch the locations of this card in your main monster zone and the monster in your center main monster zone. Then you can banish face up one random card from your opponent's hand until then phase. Okay, just a random hand grip. Fortuna. Center. During your main phase, you can place one Elfnote continuous trap from your hand or deck face up on your field. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can switch the locations of this card in your main monster zone, the monster in your center main monster zone, then you return one face up spell trap from on the field to the hand. So that's any spell trap. So you can return your own, I guess. All of these effects only work on your opponent's turn, so it's just genuinely not that great, I guess. Elfnote, Power Patron. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except for synchro monsters, and that's only while this card's on field, I guess. Okay. During the main phase, quick effect, you attack one monster in your center main monster zone, increase its level by 3 until the end of this turn. Then immediately after this effect, resolves you in synchro summon one Elfnote, synchro monster, or one Junora, the Power Patron of Tuning. Since this is a quick effect, that's how you summon Junora on your opponent's turn, I guess. And these are the only two targets you can quick synchro, right? Okay. This card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material. You can add one Elfnote card from your deck to your hand. Ooh, new card, Dragunity Falchion. You can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one Dragunity monster you control. Equip one Dragon Dragunity monster from your deck or graveyard to it as an equipped spell. While this card is equipped to a Dragunity monster, you can send this card to the graveyard, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, banish it. So this card's just solid in general. Not a whole lot to say, right? But if I recall correctly, Dragunity still doesn't have like any super good extenders from what I remember. Like, if you like brutalize certain things, it's really hard to extend from it. It was either like an extra deck monster or like the normal summon, so something like that. And then the deck completely crumbles. Well, in terms of like pure Dragunity, right? It's kind of like iffy. Fusion Draft, discard one card, then reveal one fusion monster in extra deck, add one of the fusion materials whose names are mentioned on that revealed monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except the discarded card. Then you can add a second such card to your hand if the first card added was a normal monster. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. So this would be very good for adding like Dark Magician and then like Red Eyes, I guess, to immediately just drop like a Dragoon. That's about all I see this is being good for at the moment. Because it requires a normal monster, probably something Dark Magician, Red Eyes, Blue Eyes related. So some sort of fusion in that category. The monster in your center main monster zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can send one monster from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon one Elfnote monster with a different original attribute from your deck in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck, except for synchro monsters. Feel Realize Liberation. If you control Medius the Peer, add to your hand or special summon one monster with 300 attack, + 200 defense from your deck. Actually, just like move back here for a second. Does this reborn anything? No, only Elfnote. You don't need to put this in the center main monster zone either. Okay. That's only for the attack. Got distracted for a second. Okay. Add to your hand or special summon one monster with 300 attack / 200 defense from your deck if you control Medius the Pure. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face up monster you control. It is treated as a tuner this turn. Okay, so Medius the Pure and Power Patron goes into the extra deck basically. I think that's mostly their gimmick. Okay. Archmage Impasto Recapture. If you control an Archmage monster, you can activate this card the turn it was set. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish one fusion monster you control until the end phase. And if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that monster. Then if you have 3 or more different monster types on your field, you can return all spell traps your opponent controls to the hand. So you have to banish that fusion monster. And this is a counter trap, so you can't respond to this with like anything. And if you do that, destroy that monster. Then if you have 3 or more different monster types, return all spell traps your opponent controls to the hand. That effect's not even that good, honestly. I don't know the context for that, really. Dondalos. You can target one monster your opponent controls, take control of it. And then you'd in theory be able to repeat over it to make the thing, right? You can only use this effect if Hecahand's Dondalos once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by the battle your Hecahands. Fusion monsters and monsters you control that are owned by your opponent can attack directly. So you're not removing your opponent's cards at all. You're just ignoring them and attacking directly. Oh, okay, I guess. Sure. Ichiki Sayori Hime cannot be special summoned. Fairy Spirit. Okay. New spirit monster in the year 2026, I guess. Let's see. Once per turn during the end phase. Okay. Return to hand. Okay, so the actual effects start here. If you control a monster with 800 attack or defense and this card is in your hand immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon this card. What has 800 attack or defense? It doesn't need to be both. Well, okay. Does 1800 count? Ash Blossom Joyous Ring? I don't know. Alright. Whatever. If this card is normal summon, you can add one level 4 or light dark monster with 800 attack or defense from your deck to your hand, except for Ichiki Sarihime. Are you supposed to add like Sakitama, Aratama with this? I'm assuming they have one of those stat lines. That'd be the assumption, I guess. Hecahand's Gygus. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Okay, same text as every other time. If a card is added to your opponent's hand... Oh, I get it. Hecahands and all of their effects activate in hand. Whoa, genius. Special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. And if you do, you can special summon one excavated monster to your field, also shuffle the rest into the deck. Oh, so to trigger your Hecahand's monsters, you're giving your opponent a draw, and then they'll discard a card. Target one, so that's a quick effect, so you can do it whenever, but yeah. Your opponent has to, like, add something first, no? Eh. Brius. Special summon itself during your main phase. Specifically, you can look at one random card in your opponent's hand. Then, if it is a monster, you can special summon it to your field. But this is random, so it's kind of ass. Okay. Same verse or same verse as the last verse. You know. Okay. You can reveal this card in your hand. Fusion summon one Hecahand fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including this card in your hand. This is how you perform the fusion summons to summon some of the other guys. An illusion fusion monster is sent to your graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, excepting the turn step. You can add this card to your hand, and it is hard once per turn. So, do we have another fusion summon method? Nightmare Hands. Send one illusion monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's any illusion monster, so illusion monster, foolish burial. I think that is relevant, actually, because there should be, I'm not 100% certain, but I believe there's an illusion monster or something like that, where if you send it to the graveyard, it should just trigger like a monster reborn, generically. But you can technically send a Hecahands for that, because one of them, I believe, was a monster reborn as well. During your main phase, if you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon to your field, but banish it during that phase of the next turn. Ooh, this graveyard effect's pretty nasty, right? Yeah. Very usable for stuff and things, in general. Not like that crazy, but cool enough, I guess. Also, what level was Hecahands? 7? Oh, you can just make a Rise Heart then, probably, with a stack home. Well, that's something. Dragunity, Divine Wind, new card. During your main phase, you can apply one of these effects. If Dragon Ravine is in your graveyard, you can apply any of them in sequence. Add one Dragon or Winged Beast monster from your graveyard to your hand. Special summon one Dragunity monster from your hand, then you can equip one Dragunity monster from your deck to it as an equip spell. I mean, the effects are probably fine. It's like, whatever. It would pair decently well with Ravine if you activate that first, I guess. Is that the idea? Regenesis Overlord. That's a new card, huh? Special summoned by banishing 2 monsters from your graveyard with 2500 attack or defense. You can only special summon Regenesis Overlord once per turn this way. It must be special summoned from specifically your graveyard, meaning you can't even summon this from the hand. And it's also an illusion. But it can destroy your opponent's cards by battle. Just throwing that out there. Okay, if this card is special summon, you can target cards in your opponent's field and or graveyard up to the number of your banished monsters. With 2500 attack or defense, return them to the hand. Monsters your opponent controls lose 2500 attack during the battle phase only. Okay, I guess. Tao Tao the Chanter. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. If you take battle or effect damage, you can special summon one level 3 or higher illusion monster from your hand or graveyard. If you took 2000 or more damage, you can special summon from your deck or extra deck instead. It's kind of like whatever then. Sure. You wouldn't normally play this in like the rank ladder, I guess. Maybe there's a usage for that somewhere, right? Hecahand's Tartarus. If you control Hecahand's monster, you can target one spell trap your opponent controls, return it to the hand. But why would I do that? Fusion summon one Hecahand's fusion monster from your extra deck, banishing its materials from your field and or graveyard. If you use a face-up monster you control that is owned by your opponent's material, you can treat it as a Hecahand's monster. Cool, I guess. Nice. Whatever then. Elfnote's a plea for help. Your opponent cannot target the monster in your center main monster zone with card effects. This card gains the appropriate effects based on the attributes of the monster in your center main monster zone. If your synchro monster attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Water or wind. Other face-up spells / traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You take no battle damage. So dropping a Duster versus The Elfnote back row does not work, apparently, because of this, then okay. Take no battle damage. And I think that they might have had some battle protection on the center, but can you not attack the monsters that are just not in the center? Okay. Ebal Hecahands. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control Hecahand's monster, negate the activation. If you do destroy that monster, then you can special summon the destroyed monster to your field. Oh, this card's actually pretty good. If we just ignore all of the other Hecahand's cards, that one, I like this one specific card. Okay, when your opponent activates a spell trap card while you control Hecahand's monster, negate the activation. If you do destroy that card, then you set that destroyed spell trap on your field. All right, 2 good cards. Yadal Hecahands. Okay. Elfnote's Rhapsodia of Madness. Well, you control a monster in your center main monster zone, your opponent's monsters can't attack except to attack the monster. Okay, there we go. You can send one monster from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one Elfnote monster in your graveyard with a different original attribute special summon. Then if you control a synchro monster, you negate the effects of one face-up card your opponent controls until the end of this, then Omni negate. Okay, great. There's an Omni in this deck. Okay. Elfnote's Aristia of Trust. Soft once per turn. You can target one face-up monster you control, move that monster you control to another of your main monster zones. Okay, whatever. When your opponent activates a spell trap card while you control 3 or more Elfnote monsters, you negate the effect. Then if you control a synchro monster, you can destroy that card. So this card, this whole deck seems like just utter trash to me at the moment, unless you were specifically going first. That's the vibe I get so far. Anyway, you can only use this effect once per turn. You can activate these effects of Elfnote's Aristia of Trust in the same chain. So, who cares? Why would you activate both of these effects in the same chain anyways? Unless it's to do some like jank chain blocking type deal, right? That type of thing. Hecahand's Bait. You contribute one Hecahand's monster or one monster you control that is owned by your opponent. Take control of one monster your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Hecahand's Bait once per turn. Once per turn during your in-phase, send one card you control to the graveyard. Mandatory effect. Okay. That card's funny. I guess this archetype's just all about taking your opponent's cards. That's about it, huh? So about like Hecahands, they don't have any removal, do they? And you can't destroy stuff by battle, right? Unless the main deck guys can? Nope. They shouldn't be able to. Unless they forgot to put that text on some of the cards randomly. But yeah, they're illusions. So do you have to end the game really quickly? I guess maybe not, because you can reset cards, no? This resets a card here. Then there was the other reset, so you can reset both of these pretty consistently. But you don't have that many interactions, actually. But Hecahands is completely generic, and it does not seem to require your normal summon at all. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know. Can you even play this deck going first? Well, wait a second. Oh, hot damn. I need to look up a card real quick. Let's see. What's the name of this card again? It was... I don't remember. It's like some fish monster. The effect was your opponent draws one card, but it's summoned to your opponent's field. And because it's summoned to your opponent's field, and it makes them draw one card, that's going to trigger your Hecahands cards, I guess. And it's also going to cover for Fuelos, or just Molcharmies in general. It'll turn off your opponent's abilities to activate their Molcharmy cards and Imperm. So it's shutting down okay amount of cards, and technically it could be shutting down like Cyframe Driver as well, or not Driver, Cyframe Gamma. Now if only I remembered the name of this card. There's like some fish. What was it? Like, is that something Wobbler or something? What was the name of the card? Silent Wobby. Close enough. Okay, Silent Wobby. Going to check the details on this. Does this start a chain? During your main phase, you can special summon this. That starts a chain. Unfortunate, then I wouldn't play this. But it still works like utterly well for things. I don't know if this would be worth playing. It does make your opponent draw one card, but you're also just giving a draw to your opponent, which sucks, right? Hmm. Do you have like that much consistency? You have 6 copies of essentially hidden Hecahands because one of those guys can like tutor it out, and then one of those guys can actually tutor out a monster. So it's actually not 6 copies, but 9 copies. So that's moderate consistency. It's a cheap deck. If I pull on this later, I might build Hecahands, I guess. Elfnote is like eh. Exorcister stuff, kinda eh. Dragunity stuff, well, I'm not sure how expensive Dragunity is, honestly. But as you can see, I just have none of the cards, so eh. Depends on how many copies of Ravine I get, I suppose. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.